If I were to die tomorrow, I'm telling y'all, it's my neighbor. Literally the creepiest man I have ever ran into in my life. Anyway, story time. So we moved into this apartment a few months ago, and then maybe like 2 months after, this family moved in next to us, and it was like a mom, a dad, and 2 little kids. And I was pregnant. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Like, I want to get to know them, whatever. And then grandpa moved in with them. Again, completely fine. Let your grandpa live there. But he's like, okay, he looks a little scary, and he only speaks Spanish, which is completely fine, but let me get there. Okay, so I have a Ring camera, and our doors face like this, and obviously it's like videoing their door 90% of the time, and I get a notification every single time grandpa comes out of his house. I swear I probably see the mom and the husband come out like once a week. Grandpa, though, 50 times a day. He just comes out and stands on his porch and looks into the parking lot, into the abyss. I don't even know where he's looking. For literally 5 hours a day. Creepy, but whatever. We all have our hobbies. Anyways, so like probably 2 months after they move in, it's like 8:30 at night, and me and my boyfriend are chilling on the couch, and all we hear is bang, 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 bang. Freaked out. Anyway, so I go look, it's grandpa, and we're like, what the fuck? So we answer it, and he's like, and obviously he doesn't speak English, and girl, that's all I speak. So I was like trying to like, you know, do you need my phone? Like, I was trying to get Google Translate. He was like he was getting frustrated. And he would like go to like try and say something, and then he'd be like, ah! And like, I get getting mad that we can't communicate, and like, I'm trying to help you here, but you yelling and screaming, I don't know your next move. Super creepy. Also, he wouldn't talk to my boyfriend. He kept saying like el spousa, whatever. I know what that means. He's asking for me. Anyway, so I end up calling one of my friends that speaks Spanish, and I'm like, girl, help me. And he tells her that he has an emergency and he needs $5. I don't know if we're living in the same economy, buddy, but I wish I had problems that got solved with $5. Yeah, no, I actually can't think of one problem that gets solved with $5. That calls you so bad to go bang on someone's door at 8:30 at night. But anyway, I gave him $5. Actually, I think I gave him $10. And that was the end of that. And then probably like a month later, my boyfriend's brother came over, and he dropped his phone, and it showed that the location was here, but he literally could not find it. So they looked for like hours and hours, and then my boyfriend's a little slow, but he was like, oh my God, we have a camera. Let's look at it. And so after like 2 hours of looking, they look at the camera, and they see grandpa come out, see the phone, pick it up, look left, look right, and walk back inside. Okay. So obviously my boyfriend knocks on their door and is like, hey, give me the phone. He doesn't speak English, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so my boyfriend shows him the video, and he's like, bro, the phone. And he literally just like hands him the phone out of his back pocket. Like we had caught him stealing a cookie out of the cookie jar. Sir, that is a phone. But whatever. Anyway, so creepy. Okay, anyway, fast forward to yesterday. I'm home alone with Atlas literally all day, and grandpa decides to slam on my door again. Like, he doesn't knock. He beats on my door, and I'm not answering it with a baby. I'm so sorry. Me and you, clearly, like, us communicating doesn't work, and on top of that, I'm alone with a baby. Okay, stone me. But anyway, I don't answer. He does it probably like 3 times, and I'm like freaked out. I'm looking through the peephole, but I'm like not making a noise. And then I can see him like through my blinds, like coming, and then he'll literally like bang on my door, and then he'll go back to his door and like stand by his door and like look out in the parking lot. Like, he didn't just bang on my door. Anyway, super freaking creepy. And then he'd like come by my car. I have like blinds, so he'd come by my car and like look in it, and like, I don't know, he would like go in circles around the parking lot. Creepy. Anyway, so he did it at like 2, and then he also did it at like 6 at night. Bro, again, leave me alone. Anyway, so fast forward, my boyfriend gets home at like 10 o'clock, and I guess as soon as he heard the door open, his door open, like he was listening for a door to open. I don't know, or maybe he happened to just come outside whenever my boyfriend got home, but I don't think that's a coincidence. Anyway, so he came out, and he had a piece of paper and was like, hey, like, I need to call this number, whatever. Anyway, he ended up having a paper and like needed to call someone, but like, if I would put in the picture, but I feel like that's low-key like invading privacy. But if y'all saw what he looked like standing on his porch 90% of the time, y'all wouldn't have answered that door either. And like, now that I think about it, that he needed to call someone, I feel bad. One, because I would hate to be home alone by myself with no phone. Mind you, grown-ass man. If all he needed was to call someone from 2 o'clock all the way to 10, that's 8 hours that he had no way of calling anyone. Like, I get, if you're gonna let your grandpa, if you're gonna let, like, bro, respectfully, give him a phone. If he's gonna be home alone, like, 1, he's creepy. 2, I feel bad for the guy, because it's like, if you're seriously just needing to call someone for 8 hours, they need to give you a phone, or don't let grandpa be alone. And also, if you are going to let him be alone, please just lock the door, because I seriously can't handle him going on our porch and just staring in the abyss for 5 hours a day. I may be being like a brat or something, but that's creepy in itself. And on top of that, I have multiple times, like even whenever we moved in and through the course of this, I've tried to be like, oh, hi, when we're like walking out and he's out there, but he never even looks at me. And like, yeah, you can be like, he speaks Spanish, he doesn't know, da da da. If you know what hi means. Anyone knows hi. You don't have to like, I'm not asking for a conversation, but a smile or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm literally telling y'all, if I die, it's him. My case is rested. Okay guys, I have a creepy neighbor update, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my last video. But moral of the story, everyone in my comment section was either like, you are about to die, he has dementia, or I bet she went to TikTok and didn't talk to the family first. But you would be right. One, because she's never home, but two, also because I don't know how to handle this. But today, after all of the criticism, I had the courage and I got the notification that someone was at the door, and I looked at it and it was her with the 2 kids. Bingo. But I was in the middle of doing Atlas's night routine, so I was like, okay, let me put him down and then I'll go knock on the door. Literally 10 minutes later, I was laying him down and I get a notification like she's locking the door with like big old bags in her hand. Not so fast. So I hurried up and I ran out there and I was like, hey, can I talk to you for 1 second? The little kids were out there, and I'm not about to tell the kids that their grandpa's crazy. So they went inside and I was just like, hey, I know that there's a guy that lives with you. And I told her, you know, the whole story time. The whole time she's looking at me like she's catching my vibe, but like not catching the vibe that I'm trying to make her catch. Anyway, so I told her the whole thing. She was just like, yeah, like, I don't want to like say all the personal stuff, but more of the story, he has a little problem, but he has a little issue, and he got like kicked out, and he's had like a really rough year, and his addictions like spiraled, and he got kicked out of some houses, and he was not having a house, and she took him in, and ever since then it just has been like a nightmare for her. And she was like, on it, like, I don't blame you at all. The whole time I was kind of trying to have some sympathy, because I could tell, girl, you were literally there for 10 minutes and I haven't saw you in a week, and you have bags and you're leaving. But also, girl, I can't pack my bags and I can't leave, so like, I don't know what you want me to do. And she basically said like she is trying to terminate her lease because like she can't live with him and like he won't leave and blah blah blah. And but they're like hitting her with all these fees. Girl, I know. Girl, I know. I was trying to get the same freaking move out fee. But she was just like, all these fees, and I'm just trying to like figure out whenever I can pay it, and like whenever we can like, you know, terminate it, whatever. So on one hand, I'm like, okay, well, they're terminating the lease, like, you know, whatever. But on my other hand, it's like, okay, well, you're not saying like I terminated the lease, or I am going to, like, I'm terminating the lease then. So I just have to sit here and deal with it, and I can't pack my bags like you, girl, and I can't leave. Granted, we don't probably have the exact same experience, but still, if you don't want to deal with him, I probably don't want to deal with him. And she said that. She was like, trust me, I'm his own daughter and I don't want to deal with him. But now I kind of put 2 and 2 together, that I saw someone in my comment section say like, if they're not on the lease, they can't live there, blah blah blah. So I'm debating, like, I picked up the vibe that he's not on that lease, so I could just go to the office and be like, hey, creepy neighbor, and person is walking on the porch. Bruh. Oh my god. Anyway, I literally don't know what to do, and my cheeks are getting red again, so help me.
Last night, I served probably the worst table I've ever had in my 10 years of working in a restaurant. Let me set the scene for you. It's about 9 o'clock at night. I'm about to be cut. I'm getting my last table. It's a party of 15, okay? And you know, the one lady, the head lady who's running the shiz, she's great. She's super nice. She's really sweet. She's calling me baby doll. She's calling me baby girl. She's calling me baby. I'm loving it. I'm like, yes, call me all the things. I love this. Respect. I respect you. You respect me. You get whatever you want, lady. Tells me, hey, whatever my table wants, just let them get it. I say, cool. I got you. Everything's going great. Get the order, get the drinks, bring out the bread, everything's straight chilling. That is until the food comes out. Food comes out. Before everybody's food can even get set on the table, one of the ladies is already complaining that her food is overcooked. Understand? Let me recook it for you. Get her a new steak. That steak comes out. She complains about that one. I get her a third steak. She complains about the third steak. I now have to ask my manager to go talk to her because she's asking for a manager. My manager is like, okay, talking to her. This lady is so rude to my manager. I felt so bad. Now she's complaining about her daughter's steak. Okay? So now we got 4 different steaks being cooked at this point. And I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know what you want from me. I'm not cooking the steak. And they were so nice to me. And that's what sucks, is they were being so nice to me, but so rude to everybody else. Her daughter's steak comes out. Recook on that one. We now have like 6 recooks at this point, okay? My other manager has to go out and tell them, unfortunately, we cannot give you another steak because at this point, like, we can't get it right for you. There's just not much we could do for you. Like, the person who's paying for the bill has already paid for the bill. At this point, all we could do is offer you a refund or like gift cards for future. And that's all, right? This lady starts to have a fucking meltdown. A meltdown. Gets all up in my manager's face, okay? And my manager's like, yo, don't touch me. Don't touch me. Like, I'm not trying to fight you. I'm not trying to fight you. This lady then goes, you're on the clock. What are you going to do about it? Okay, lady. Things start getting thrown. The guys at the table pouring shit all over the table. They're flipping plates over. They're pouring drinks everywhere. I'm like in the kitchen. I'm standing in the back going, what is happening? What is happening? Freaking out. The cops get called because now it has become like an assault charge. So the cops had to escort them off the property. My work got put on lockdown, so I couldn't even leave last night because of how terrible this table was. Like, what is happening?
A few people have been asking if I got tipped. I did. She did tip me. The lady who did like all of the stuff and handled the check and everything, she pulled me to the front before everything like fully went down and was like, I would like to apologize for them. They're my family and they get on my nerves too, but you are doing absolutely incredible and I appreciate you for like even running around and doing all the things that you're doing, and then handing me a hundy. So like, I got tipped at least.
I'm just gonna address these kinds of comments real quick. The race of the table truly doesn't matter. It's the fact of which that they were acting like children. That's all that matters. I'm not gonna say what kind of race they are. If you guys want to make assumptions, you can make an assumption. But like y'all being racist in the comments, talking about, oh, we know what race. Who cares? Who literally cares? Every single race has people in it that act this exact same way, and if you tell me no, you're lying. Everybody in their race has temper tantrums, and that's fine. I'm not gonna specify what kind of race it is. She was complaining that the steak was overcooked. So the very first steak, she was like, this is way overcooked, which it was definitely well done, not medium well. And then the second steak, the way that she explained the way she wanted it cooked was she was like, I wanted it seared and then charred. So when I went and explained that to the cook, I don't know what he did wrong. I think when he went to go char it, because he had already been searing it, he threw it on the open flame versus just, I don't even know how to char a steak, but that happened. And then when the third one came out, she was like, do you see this? Let me see the picture. So I show her the picture of what a medium well steak is supposed to be. And she goes, does that look medium well? And I was like, there should be a slight bit more of pink, like this much more, like a hint. But yes, that does look medium well to me. But however, I'm just gonna eat the steak because I'm hungry. Obviously, you're not. But yeah, by that last steak that came out, I didn't even hear what she was complaining about. I like at that point was just so fed up, didn't even want to go out to the table. My manager didn't even want to go out to the table, so she sent a different manager out, and that's when everything escalated. Yeah, it was a lot.
Story time of getting caught with my brother's best friend. I literally have to block people just to be able to post this. This is highly confidential. I know the girls want to hear this story. So my brother had gotten a new friend and we met at my sister's engagement party and there was immediate chemistry. immediate tension. The first thing he says to me is, "How are you so pretty and your brother looks like that?" A lot of eye contact. We start flirting, we're talking all night, and he's like, "I can't believe you're his sister." He mentioned how my brother didn't like that we were talking. Find out he's a Sagittarius. I'm like, "Wait, you're the sign I'm like most compatible with." It's like, "Oh god, like you can't be saying this." After the party, we follow each other on Instagram and my brother finds out and he's like, "It's not happening." Next thing I know, he unfollows me, removes me from his followers, and not long later I see him at a bar. There's so much tension still. We're just like staring into each other's eyes, and I was like, "So why'd you unfollow me?" He was like, "Do you really want to know?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Your brother called me, yelling at me, saying, 'I don't want you talking to her, I want her with a good guy. Unfollow her,' completely yelling at him." So let's refer to him as Guy. So fast forward to Halloween, my brother asks if I can get him and Guy into the bar that me and my friends are going to because we had a table. So Guy ends up also bringing his cousin, and I end up talking to his cousin. He gets annoyed that I'm like talking to his cousin and like won't talk to me and is like going like this. And I was like, "Well, at least he has the balls to talk to me." And he was like, "I don't want to do anything to upset your brother." Next thing you know, my brother's getting kicked out of this bar, and Guy comes up to me and he's like, "Listen, I'm gonna take care of him, I'll take him home, whatever." Next thing you know, I'm on an Uber back to my friend's place with my friends, and Guy is texting me, "I can't believe you left me with him," calls me telling me that he just got into a fist fight from my brother. So then he texts me asking me to come because my brother is literally a mess. Go to his place. My brother looks a mess. Me and him end up staying up talking and flirting and play fighting and like wrestling. I don't really know how we ended up doing that, but we're trying to like be quiet and be slick because my brother is literally right there. Me and him ended up trying to go to sleep at like 5 a.m. So eventually we all go to bed. Then at like 8 a.m. I go up to him and I'm like, "Can I come in?" And he opens the blanket, pulls me, and we start cuddling. We're like holding hands. He's rubbing my fingers. Meanwhile, my brother is on the other side of the bed, just face the other way, but he's asleep. And then he asks me something, and I start answering, and he covers my mouth so fast. He's like, "Shh, not right now. Your brother's right there." And I was like, "He's asleep." And he goes, "I promise you, he's not." Shortly, my brother gets up and sees that we're cuddling, and he's like, "Why the fuck are you guys cuddling?" Grabs my hand, drags me out of the bed. I literally fall to the floor, and he's like, chill out, chill out. And it was bad. Running out of time. There's honestly too much to this story. If you guys want a part 2, follow me and let me know.
10 years ago, I matched with a guy on Tinder. He messaged me and he said, "We're gonna look so cute at the gym in our matching Beats." This is back when like the Beats headphones were lit, like they were new. It was dope to like have them in every other color if you could afford that. Anyway, he invites me to a Justin Bieber concert for our first date. And I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's roll." And he tells me to pack an overnight bag. I was the hoe back then, I don't care. This guy was hot AF. I definitely packed an overnight bag. Anyway, I go to his place and we get into his car and we go together. Super fun night. The next day, we go and get sushi. And we were just inseparable for that entire weekend. Well, come like that following week, I'm at work and I start to feel like absolute, like just my body's just not okay. My entire body just starts shaking and like I have a loss of control and I'm able to kind of like beep the front desk lady from my phone. And I'm like, "Karen, you need to come and get me. I need help." And she rushes me to the ER. I had a kidney infection. Freaking messed me up. Anyways, my Tinder guy brings me a Spider-Man basket full of medicine and treats and a card. Just super cute. We've been married for 7 years now and together for 10. Tinder works, y'all.
So this is a friendship breakup that I know what went wrong, but it's still just a crazy story. So me and her, we were only friends, I think, for like a year total. We met at work. I was like her manager, and she like came on really strong about like being like starting a friendship with me. And I was new to this manager role, and so I didn't really know how to act between people that were on my team that I was above. I don't know. I was like, is it okay if I'm just friends with people? Like, it was my first time being a manager, so I just like I don't know. We became good friends and called each other best friends within, I don't know, couple months or something, and we would hang out all the time. But she would make some comments that hurt my feelings a little bit, and I would just kind of disregard it because I've always kind of had friends that did that. And anyway, one night we went out downtown to a bar, and I was with this guy that I had just started dating, and we were just sitting at the table, and me and him were just like laughing, talking, I don't know, and she was also with a date, I think, but she was just, I remember looking across the table, and she was just staring at me like this. Like, I was like, is she okay? I had to go to the bathroom, so I was like, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. And the guy I'm dating follows me, which was very annoying. He was annoying. That relationship did not last very long. So anyway, I go into the bathroom, and at first he follows me in there, and I'm like, get out. Like, I'm just going pee. And he's like, I just wanted to make sure you're okay. And I was like, stand outside the door then. And so he did. It was weird. So we were gone for like maybe 2 minutes. And so anyway, came back to the table. And seconds after we sat down, this friend, we'll call her Pam, she looks at me, gets up, and goes over to the bar. And I was like, okay, she's ordering another drink or something. She comes, sits back down, and a few minutes later, someone that works at the bar comes up to our table, looks at me and the guy I'm dating, and he was like, you guys are disgusting. You need to get out now. And I thought he was like joking. I didn't know what was happening. I was like, so I started laughing. I was like, what? He was like, I'm serious. You're so gross. Get out. And I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, he kicked us out, and I had no idea what was happening. And I was like, did this friend tell someone that we like hooked up in the bathroom or something and got us kicked out? Like, that's all I could think of, which I thought was fucking crazy. She was my good friend. Why would she do that? Okay, so like a month later, this friend Pam and I are hanging out with my friend Ashley. And Ashley has been a really good friend of mine for a while at this point. And there was a point where it was just the two of them hanging out talking. And Pam just started talking all kinds of shit about me. And Ashley was like, okay. And she was also bragging about how she got me kicked out of a bar. Okay? Yeah, she did that. I don't know why. We didn't do anything. She just, I don't know why. Okay? That was fucking crazy. And Ashley's also like, I don't know why she thought she could just talk shit about you to me when you and I are best friends. And I was like, yeah, that's really fucking weird. And that she admitted to her that she did get me kicked out of a bar? What? That's such weird behavior. Like, I would never do that to somebody. I mean, what the fuck? And no, we did not hook up in the bathroom. I would tell you, because what do I have to lose? Okay? But no, that's gross. I didn't do that. I don't know why sometimes you become, or why sometimes people pursue friendships with people that they don't like. And why, I just felt like she hated me. And so I don't get people like that. And she's not the first person that I swear I became close with that did not like me. But it's just really strange.
I've never made a video like this before, but when I told my friends this story, they were legitimately horrified, and they were like, do people like this actually exist? And I'm like, yes. So I'm a bartender in New York, And I have some horror stories, and this is one of them. It's just hilarious, if I'm being honest. And it just proves that Karens are real. So, it was like a Monday, like, lunch. And usually they're pretty slow. We open at 11:30. It's like noon. This lady comes and sits at my bar. We're not, like, busy. So I'm like, great, let's do this. Give her a menu, give her some water, ask her if she's gonna eat. She says, no, I just want a glass of wine. I said, great. She orders a glass of sparkling rosé. I go get the bottle. I present it to her. I pour her a taste. And she says she doesn't like it. I said, okay. Like, do you have any idea of, like, what you want? Basically. And she goes, well, what's your favorite? I just stepped into her damn trap, I swear. And I go over to her, and I flip to the page, and I point to the sparkling wine that is my favorite. It's a Blanc de Blanc from France. It's a little pricey. She asked me what I like. I have expensive taste. Can you, like, blame a girl? Like, geez, I do this for a living. So I point to that glass of wine. She said, okay, I'll try a taste of that. And I said, okay, great. Get her a new glass, present her the bottle, pour her a taste. She likes it. She's like, that's perfect. I was like, great, pour her a glass. She proceeds to sit at my bar for the next 4 hours, which is totally her prerogative. Taking phone calls, doing whatever. She orders another glass of wine. Give her another glass. And then eventually she asks for her check. I drop the check on her. Then there's more people coming into my bar, so I'm going to greet the other people. She then flags over my coworker, and he runs her card. Mind you, the check is in front of her the entire time. It has literally the items that she ordered and the price and how much the check is going to be. And she can look at it because it's literally in front of her. But she just put her card on top. I work at a place where that is very common. And so my coworker runs it. And then after he runs the card, that's when she chooses to look at how much she spent. Mind you, also on the little machine, it has the quantity of what she ordered and the price. So literally it's all over the place. You can literally see it. I don't need to explain this to you, but still. Then she says to my coworker that she didn't order the 2 glasses of wine that she ordered. She was like, that's not the glass of wine that I ordered. She was like, I ordered a glass of the rosé, the sparkling rosé. You did, but you didn't like it. And then she said, I also ordered a glass of the less expensive sparkling white wine. So my coworker comes over to me and goes, Hannah, what's happening? I go, I'll go talk to her. And she proceeded to tell me the same exact thing that she told my coworker. Like, I didn't take her order. Like, girl, please. Like, I didn't take your freaking order, lady. Like, I'm not dense. Like, I'm not stupid. And I proceed to correct her, basically. I was like, well, you asked me what my favorite glass of sparkling wine was, and I told you, and that's the one that you ordered, and I also pointed to it on the menu, which has the price listed. And she was like, are you serious? You're just trying to, like, get money out of me. And I tipped you 25%. At this point, I'm like, I don't want your money. Actually, I don't want your tip. I actually just really want you to leave this establishment. So then I go to my manager and I'm like, hey, this lady's giving me a really hard time. Can we just refund her card? Can we just refund her? She's arguing with me and it's just not going to end well if we don't give her this stuff for free. And he was like, I got you. So he comps it for her, and I go back over to her, and I think she thinks that I'm still going to charge her for the glass of rosé and the glass of other sparkling white wine that's less expensive. I think she still thinks I'm going to charge her for that. But I go up to her and I say, you know what, ma'am? It's on the house today. We refunded your card. Have a nice day. She was like, no, but your tip. No, but your tip. I said, it's really okay, ma'am. Don't worry about it. She was like, oh no, like, I wasn't trying to do this. I wasn't trying. And I was like, it's fine. I was like, it's really okay. It's on the house today. Thank you very much. And then she proceeds. Oh, this makes my blood boil. Then she proceeds to tell me that next time I should let people know how much I'm charging them. What? I literally pointed on the menu to the glass of wine that has the price listed right next to it, by the way. I'm just like, you're just a grifter. Like, you're literally just trying to come and get stuff for free. And you know what? You got your way in the long run. And then she had the audacity to smack a 20 on the freaking bar. And I was like, I don't even want your freaking cash. I'm like, it's just ridiculous, you know? Yeah, but people are actually, like, there are people who behave like this. Yep.
This is a story about how when I was 13 in middle school, I got my dad arrested for being on the Indiana Most Wanted list because I did not know he was on there. I got my first phone when I was 13 years old in 7th grade. His girlfriend at the time bought it for me, and it was a Droid, like the original Droid, those phones. And I had internet on it. And so I was like, this is just absolutely insane. I'm going to balls to the wall. I'm going to Google everybody I know. And that's exactly what I did. Christmas Day, I'm sitting there Googling all my friends from school, my mom, my grandma. I go to Google my dad. Boom, mugshot. Boom, mugshot. I'm like, well, that's not surprising. But let's like peer in and see what the mugshot's for. Boom, mugshot. Kidnapping. And that word y'all say on here like a fruit, but I don't like to say it because it takes away the weight of the word. I'm like, oh, okay, that's actually insane. So I'm like sick at this point, and I'm like, are you gonna explain to me what this is, you know, to my dad? He's like, oh, you know, it was this time in the 80s and I was in Indiana. We picked this girl up and we did like schmugs together, and then we left her at this lake and she was really mad because she didn't have a way home. So then she said that we did this and this. I'm like, okay, I know that every now and then there's like one person who lies about something like that, and then men kind of like take it and they're like, this is all women. But it didn't feel right in this scenario. So I was like, I'm kind of on her side on that one, because at the end of the day, you leaving her there is shitty regardless. And he starts telling me about it. He's like, well, I did leave the state before my parole was up, so they probably, it's just a mix up in the system, you know, and they thought that I like fled. And I'm like, well, if they thought you fled in the 80s, what's changing them thinking you fled in 2012, you know? And I'm talking to him about this, and I'm like, you know, I just can't even worry about this. I'm like, I already had anxiety at such a young age, so I'm like, I need to just go to bed. I have to go to like my mom's tomorrow for her Christmas. We'll figure it out. I get back from my mom's Christmas, and everything's normal at first. I get ready to go to school. I get on the bus. I come back home from the bus, and if you were the child of an addict, or even just the child of somebody who like you were a grandma's kid, you knew that if you got off the bus and grandma's car was in the driveway, something's wrong. Something's not good. And so I immediately start panicking, like, what's going on? Where's my dad? And my grandma's like, well, he's been picked up by the police because he's wanted in Indianapolis. And I'm like, oh my God. Because mind you, I'm like that lady with all the math equations going around her head, because I'm like, this is absolutely somehow my fault, because nobody knew about it before that moment. So I'm like, oh, this sucks. And I just immediately start sobbing. And the best part of the whole story to me is that we live in such a small town that when this happened, they called our town and was like, are you going to bring him to us? Our town said, we do not have the taxes to even make that happen. You want to come pick up a 50-year-old man for something he did 30 years ago? Be our guest, but we will not be transporting him to you. And purely because of that, yet again, he got let off the hook for some shit he absolutely should not have been. And that was kind of like the theme of his entire life.
Oh, and I wasn't allowed on the internet after that for like 2 weeks. I totally forgot to put that in there, sorry. But me and my dad thought the same person snitched, which was his best friend, that we later found out was a paid informant for our local sheriff's department. So he was already getting paid to basically snitch out where people were doing drugs at and where people were paying out money on like the gambling machines that you see in gas stations sometimes. He would snitch everybody out and just get paid for it every time. And it got so bad that they ran him out of our town, like very pitchforks and torches style, because he never came back after they found out the last time. He moved to like one of the Carolinas and called it a day. But I to this day believe it was him that did it. There's a chance that they could have, I guess, tracked the IP address, which would make it my fault because I looked it up at our house that he was on the property for. So it could be my fault. Do I care? Not really. He definitely deserved to go for a couple months. Just to add to the who snitched comments or whatever, I absolutely had beef with this man that I thought did it by the time I was like 12, because he would constantly move in and out of our house and in my room. And my dad would be like, well, you just have to sleep on the couch until he moves out. Absolutely not. So this grown man would move into our house with his ancient dog, I don't even, cocker spaniel, something like that, and he would feed this dog wet food by hand. It's been over 15 years since this happened to me, and I still think about it from time to time, because he would wake up at 4 a.m. and slide past the couch that I was sleeping on and would literally just start to this decrepit dog, and I'm getting mad just thinking about it.
Story time about how my best friend's ex's mother slapped her in a Goodwill. I feel like enough time has passed for me to be able to tell this story, but I'm so excited to tell it. Okay, so me and a group of my friends were hanging out. I think there was like maybe only 4 of us, and then there was also my little sister was there, and we were just hanging around doing random stuff, and then we said, hey, let's go to Goodwill, because they wanted to find some jars for something. It was like specifically they wanted to look at Goodwill. I don't even remember. But we pull up to Goodwill and everything's normal. We walk in, I'm looking around, like doing my thing. And then all of a sudden, I see this ratty little dog. We see my best friend's ex and his mother, and they're like kind of across the store from us. And obviously we all start laughing because they had just broken up like probably a month prior to that. So it was such a coincidence that we both pulled up at Goodwill at the same time, and they had kind of like a messy breakup, like kind of a very like involved breakup, I feel like. So obviously when we saw them, we were like, oh my god, that's a crazy coincidence, right? So we're all laughing. They're making their way to like the cashier to check out, and I guess his mom like peeped us and like saw us laughing, because she had this like super like pissed off face the entire time. And my best friend has a very close relationship with her mom, so immediately she called her mom, and it was kind of like just like, hey mom, like what a coincidence, like we saw him at Goodwill. And we're just kind of laughing about it, right? Like we're not necessarily hating on him, like we're not bullying him or whatever she wanted to say later on. We were just laughing because it was a coincidence. Like, okay, his mother sees that my best friend is on the phone, and then she storms over. And when I tell you, she stormed over with the most scary face ever. Like, I was actually so afraid. She was like, she stormed over and was like, oh, like, I know you're on the phone with your mom, like you always are, like talking shit or something between those lines. And then she was like, oh, I know what you guys have been saying about my son around school. And she was like, oh my god, she was so evil. She was taking her finger and pointing it at each one of our faces, including my 12-year-old little sister, who has no idea who any of these people are. She points in our face like this. She goes, you are disgusting. You are disgusting. You are disgusting. And she was low-key cussing us out, and obviously we were kind of like telling her to get away because she was all up in all of our faces. We are all minors. She was literally harassing us. Mind you, we did not provoke her in any shape or form. She walked over to us. And the ex is still standing in the cashier line, just kind of watching in like literal awe. And then the mom goes back in line and they go pay for their stuff. Obviously, we are like, holy shit. There's no way that just happened. So we are kind of like standing in front of the door now because we are like trying to like, I think the manager came up to us and was like, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? Or it was like a worker. And we were like, oh my God, that lady just came over and like literally harassed us. Like, that is not okay. Okay. And then we were like kind of like standing like right where the doors was, like just in front of it, talking to the worker. They finished checking out. They are walking towards the door, and right before the mom exits, she walks up to my friend, literally smacks her in the face, like on her forehead. It was like the strangest like hit. I don't even understand what she thought she was doing. But as soon as she made physical, aggressive contact with my friend's face, we were all like, holy shit. And I started filming as soon as she like stormed off from the cashier because she was already kind of looking at us, so I thought she was gonna come over and start yelling at us again. So I pulled out my phone and I started recording. But no, instead of catching her cussing us out again, I caught her freaking slapping my friend in the face. And so then we're kind of like chasing her out of Goodwill. We're like, you just hit a minor, you just assaulted a minor, we're calling the cops. You can literally hear my voice. I'm like, you're going to jail. The ex is like flicking us off, like being so disrespectful, thinking he's a big boy protecting his mom, when why are you defending your mother in this situation when she literally came up to us, harassed us completely unprovoked. But whatever. They walk off into their cars, zooming away. Literally, so many people in the Goodwill saw. Everybody saw what happened. Okay? Everyone saw what happened. Okay? And so they are all coming up to us being like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, my best friend is literally sobbing in tears because, mind you, it's been literally a month after the breakup. She's barely over this man, and his mother just slapped her in the face. Like, are you freaking kidding me? We call the cops, of course, because we're not letting her get away with this. And that was a whole thing. Apparently nothing did happen. Like, I don't know, she got a warning or something, but I don't really know why nothing happened about that. But it doesn't matter because my best friend moved states away and everything's fine now, and we look back at it and laugh, and she's doing so much better. She's thriving. She's an amazing new boyfriend, and life's good. So yeah, that's my story time. A lot of people who are in this story follow me, so shout out to y'all.
I just went on a shitty date. I just went on a really, really, really bad date. Like, really bad. I like swore off dating. Like, I in the last like month and a half, 2 months, I was like, I don't have the attention span for a man. I don't have the patience for a man. I don't have the want to deal with any men right now. And recently I kind of was like, can you not, Michael? Another man that I'm like, but in the last month, I kind of was like, let me like retry. Let me like put my toes back in the water, right? So I got back on Hinge. And I met this guy, and we've been talking for like a week and a half, just texting, and we've talked on the phone a few times. And he was cool. Like, I thought it was cool. And so he was like, do you want to go to the movies next weekend? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. He asked me if it's okay if he picks me up at noon. And I'm like, sure, like, day, like, question mark, like, day movie. And he was like, I just don't drive at night. And I was like, okay, like, that's fine, cool. Yeah, I would love an afternoon, midday date. That means I can go home and do whatever the fuck else I want to do for the rest of the day, right? Right. So, in the last week that we've been talking, there has been so many times that, like, I'll explain something, I'll say something, and he's like, what is that? And I, like, have to further explain, or, like, I am teaching this man things. I've been teaching him things. Like, he's been like, I learn something every day. You've been teaching me so much. And I mean, like, it's, like, kind of basic stuff. To me. basic stuff to me. But anyways, so I keep being like, you sure you didn't know that? Like, you sure you didn't know that? Hold on, let me think of something. Oh, so in the car today, I was like, yeah, like I had a hyperfixation on something. He was like, what's that? And I was like, what's what? And he was like, what's a hyperfixation? Like, I've never heard of that. Right, okay. And then I said something else today that, like, hold on. So anyways, he's a terrible driver. He's a really, really, really bad driver. Like, really, really bad. And I'm very glad, and I think that was probably himself being like, I cannot drive another person in my vehicle at night. I'm a bad driver. So we'll say, okay, thank you for that. But I did feel unsafe. Yeah. So we went to the movies. We went and saw the drama. I knew what the movie was going to be about. Like, I knew kind of like the twist, right? Like, I knew it was coming. I just wanted to see it unfold and how it happens. Great movie, by the way. Gorgeous. And he did not know what it was supposed to be about. He was like, I just saw that Zendaya and Robert Pattinson are in it. Like, let's go see it. And I was like, okay, bet. So we go, and while the movie is playing, I'm like, oh my God, I love her dress. Like, it's so cute. I wonder if it has pockets. And he was like, what do you mean pockets? And I was like, women's dresses can have pockets. Like, a lot of them do, actually. So it's a deal breaker for some women. Acted like that was like, never heard that concept before. Okay. He's also very jumpy. Like, very jumpy. Like, when it was like a loud noise on the screen, he'd be like jump. And he had told me previously, like, I am a jumpy person. Like, I don't like loud noises. And I was like, oh, like, okay. Like, I watch a lot of crime and horror and thriller movies, so okay. No, it was like he was jumping at, like, if the scene would flash too quickly. Like, you know how they do in movies. You know how, like, a scene will, like, flash into something else and then go back to, like, you know, nuance. He would jump. And I was like, are you good? Are you okay? Are you stressed? Like, are you good? He's like, I told you, like, I'm pretty jumpy. And I'm like, okay. I also was having to explain to him that, like, in the flashes in some scenes were, like, dreams or overreacted ideals. Like, he would be like, is this real? Is this happening? Like, is that... And I'm like, no, this is a nuanced scene. This is like, for you know, the plot. Like, no. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. And I could just be, like, really uppity about those kind of things, and that could just be... I could be totally wrong here in saying that was a bad date, but... It was a bad date. And he, like, dropped me back off. He made me go to the mall with him and buy socks. He made me go to the mall with him and go to the Vans store because he only buys fan socks and he only wears Vans. He listened to Suicide Boys and Lil Peep in the car. He was like, do you use SoundCloud? I was like, I haven't, but I use Spotify. I can't do this, y'all. I can't do it.
Prom day in hell, but this is what is actually happening to me right now. So basically, you, like, this guy adds you on Snapchat, and one of your best friends, who's, like, a freshman, knows his brother, and, like, she's had a thing with his brother, and you're like, oh, like, is this so-and-so's brother? And she's like, yeah, so you add him back. You guys start, like, talking, he's, like, really nice, and you, like, plan to hang out. So you hang out, it goes great, you really like him, you hang out the next day. He meets your parents, mind you, this first hangout. He comes over to your house. Then the next day, you go over to his house and meet his whole family. Then things are going great. It's, like, the beginning of March, like, you guys have hung out, like, I think 3 times, maybe 4. He's a senior, so he goes to Mexico for spring break. He acts like everything is la-di-da, like, oh, he's just having fun in Mexico while you're on your vacation. You find out, the day you get back, he fucked another girl. After making it a point that he wasn't gonna do that to you. So, you're fucking pissed. Like, what the fuck? What? And at this point, you canceled on your first prom date because you're like, oh, I like this guy. I'm gonna go to prom with him. So, he's your date now. You've already bought tickets. And since I hate myself so much, we decide we're gonna keep things casual. And I told him, I'm not going to be talking to other guys by work, quote unquote casual, and we're still going to hang out. And he said, he didn't ever say exclusively he wasn't going to be talking to any other girls, but his Snapchat goes up like 10,000, like every fucking other day. So you're just feeling like shitty, like whatever, like you hang out a few more times. It's a day before prom, which was yesterday. You're getting a text. I don't know if I can go to prom. Fuck you mean you don't know if you can go to prom? So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? And he's like, I can't talk about it right now. Like, I'll tell you after work in a few hours. Promise tomorrow. We're not playing this game. Oh, sorry, this person. It's T-minus like 26 hours until prom, mind you. So he gets done with work. He calls you. He tells you this crazy story. He runs his school's Almost Friday account. Someone sent him a picture of an AI picture of a teacher and a student kissing. He posts it because he's a dumbass. The teacher is now trying to sue him, and he's suspended for 10 days. But he tells you, like, oh, like, I should be fine for prom tomorrow. Like, I don't think my school's going to call yours, because you go to a private school, and they have to be in good standing with their school to be able to come to our prom. So it's like, okay, whatever, I only have to deal with him one more night, and I'm done with him. Oh, boy. You wake up. It's today. It's prom day. Good morning. I'm in such a good mood. Like, I'm making all these transitions. I have brunch soon. Like, I'm so excited to go. Your mom comes home from the dollar store. We need to talk. What do you mean we need to talk? Your principal called us. He can't come to your prom because he's not in good standing with his school. Fuck. So you just start crying because naturally, what the fuck? It's the day of prom. What the fuck am I supposed to do? So you start posting on your private story. You're like, what the fuck? What do I do? All of my amazing friends, I love my fucking friends so much. They are all hassling to get you a date right now. This is what's happening right now. So check back for part 2 to see if I get a date tonight. Here's the long-awaited part 2. Sorry, my voice is like fully gone. Okay, so after I posted that TikTok, I went to brunch. Brunch goes great. All my friends are like texting me about like dates, da-da-da. I find the date, obviously. He was super nice. We had a lot of fun. We go take pictures. Everything's going great. I'm like, okay, the day's turning around. Like, it's going to be fine. We go to Sonic. I get mozzarella sticks and a small vanilla ice cream with mini M&Ms. There was something else in there because I have a nut allergy, and I can tell when I'm having an allergic reaction. Something immediately doesn't feel right after I've eaten this ice cream. Like, my stomach starts to hurt. I'm just trying to play it off because I'm like, I don't want to ruin the night. But, like, ooh. I text my mom because we have a red carpet, and all the parents come and, like, watch you walk down the red carpet. I'm like, Mom, like, I don't feel good. Like, can you please bring me some medicine? It just keeps progressively getting worse. By the time we get to the dance, I'm, like, in barfing territory. So we're lined up for the red carpet, like, ready to go. I get, first of all, flamed for my slit, like, I'm getting dress coded. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna puke. So I run to the bathroom. I go throw up. Whilst one of our administrators is like, you need to pin your slit. So I pin my slit. It's fine. My eyes are, like, so red, though, because I just, like, puked in the toilet. This is TMI, but it also came out of my nose. So, like, I was in pain. And I'm just not feeling good. Like, I'm just like, this day has been just rough. But my mom gives me 2 Benadryl, and my dad brings a bunch more medicine. I don't even remember what he gave me, but I took, like, 15 pills. But he's a doctor, so, like, he knew what he was doing. But mid-dinner, the Benadryl hits me. So I'm, like, fighting for my life, trying to keep my eyes open. I'm, like, I'm talking to my dad, and I'm just like, But then all the other medication kicked in. I had a lot of fun. I danced the rest of the night. Like, it was fine. And then we went back to my friend's house that we got picked up at. I just hung out there for a bit, and I just went home and went to bed because I had to be up super early for a dance competition that I was at all day yesterday. So, junior prom 26 in the books. And my date, my OG date, he's super mad at me about the other TikTok. So stay mad because I did nothing wrong.
Hello. Today I'm going to tell you the story about the time that I went to visit a friend I haven't seen in a few years and it going pretty terrible. So I lived in Michigan for a few years and then I moved to Ohio and I met my husband and everything. So a couple years ago for my birthday, I went to Michigan and my husband came with me and I had planned to meet up with a few friends that weekend and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you are going to love my friends. I can't wait for you to meet them. And most of those meetings went very well, except for one. And unfortunately, this one was on Saturday night, aka like prime time. Let's go backwards a few years. I had met this guy at work, and he was much older than me, but we were friends, and he was super kind. He was kind of weird a little bit, but I was 24, and I didn't see all of the weirdness. And then and I thought that I was different. I'm like, oh, he's not being a creep. He actually likes who I am, which, spoiler alert, no. So I hit him up. I'm like, hey, we're in town. Do you want to hang out? And he calls me, and he starts going off on like this sob story about his life, which I will get into in just a moment. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that sucks. Like, whatever. But then we meet up, and we go to his house, and I had thought that he lived alone, but he did not. He had this girl, which this guy's probably in his mid-40s, and he had this younger girl living with him. And it was really odd because right in front of her, he's like, oh, what's her name? She's down on some rough times, so I took her in and I'm taking care of her, which, hello, 911, that's kind of weird, but whatever. So we go inside, and he starts like going off about, like, he had a kid a couple years ago, and he's saying that the kid isn't his, and he knows that it wasn't his, but he signed the birth certificate anyway. And then the mom left him, and he hates taking care of this kid, and it's so hard, and he has to pay child support for the next 18 years, and like, wow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay, like, trauma don't much. So he's crying about this, and I'm just like, okay. Mind you, on Facebook, he's father of the year. He's always posting the kid and like acting like he's some like proud dad, but really he's just a whiny piece of shit. Which, off note, I feel like the worst parents overcompensate for their shitty parenting by posting on Facebook and just pretending. So he's crying about this, and it's awkward. Also, I had just quit drinking alcohol not too long before this, and I was like, hey, is it cool if I bring non-alcoholic beer to your house? And he acted like it was such a big deal. He's like, I don't want alcohol in my house. I'm like, yeah, non-alcoholic, that's what I said, but I brought it anyway. He starts going on. He's updating us some more, and he's telling us that he's a Smex addict, and he goes to Smex Addicts Anonymous, and I'm like, if you've seen him, you would understand. Like, I don't know how you can be addicted to something that you don't get, but I don't know. And he even had a freaking coin, and he's showing me and my husband. So then he's like, well, what do you guys want to do? And we're like, oh, like, we had talked about playing board games. Let's play a board game. And I was like, let's play Monopoly. And he's like, I don't really want to play Monopoly. So we played like this really weird game of like finding out whose ghost is haunting this house or something. And it was very awkward. And I'm like looking at my poor husband. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry that I put you through this. It was so odd. And then I went to the bathroom, and homeboy turned off the cold water in his house, so all the water was scalding hot. And then he didn't have toilet paper, so I was like, hey, I need some toilet paper. And he goes to like the girl that's living with him. He's like, oh, so and so, can you please bring some toilet paper to the guest bathroom? I'm like, okay, so whatever. Eventually this game ends, thank God, and I'm hungry. So I'm like, hey, like, where can we eat? And he kind of lives in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, well, we go to Red Robin. And I look it up, and I'm like, well, they close in like a half hour. And he's like, oh, it's fine. So we go. And it's like 10 to 20 minutes before close. And he's like, I'm lactose intolerant, and I can't have this. And is your garlic aioli vegan, and blah, blah, blah. And we're just sitting there, me and my husband, like, looking at each other like, this is humiliating. Humiliating. So they bring us the food, and he sees that garlic aioli, which the waitress told him was vegan. And he's like, this doesn't look like it's vegan. So he calls her back over and he has her go get the freaking ingredient book out. And it's like, it's probably past close at this point. And I know that they probably were spitting in our food, and I don't blame them, not one bit. We fixed the aioli issue and we finished our food, and then he just sits there and he's still talking and he's still whining about this whole kid thing. And mind you, I don't know, I think the kid looks like him, but I'm also not Maury Povich, so I don't know, not gonna say. And he's just talking and talking and talking, and it's like 30 minutes past close, and my husband already went outside. My husband was pissed. He went outside and was smoking, and then finally, I'm like, oh, like, I don't think he's coming back in. Like, we should go. Like, come on. And, yeah, we left. And then at the very end of the night, we're saying goodbye, and he goes to hug me, and then he looks at my husband. He's like, you wouldn't be offended if I hugged her, would you? And my husband just is like, he chuckles. He's like, no, dude. Mind you, my husband is really hot. And this guy is just, not really. Not at all.
I got mad at my boyfriend because he was super late coming home, and I was like, where are you? Tell me why he was getting me chocolate.
Good afternoon, friends. I've been told by many friends that I should start posting on TikTok my story times because some of them are just too good for the world not to hear. And this one is coming from a date that I went on last night. So please sit down, grab a bucket of popcorn, turn off your TV, and listen in because this one's going to be a good one. So it starts off with me matching with this guy on Tinder. Now, you're going to start by saying, Sarah, why the fuck are you going on a date with a guy that you matched with on Tinder? And I would start by saying, where else am I supposed to find them? I've looked left and right, and I've yet to find someone that attracts me and my personality. Every single man I have gone on a date with, it's always been a flunk. So I've started to resort to Tinder because the men out here, they suck. For the sake of his personality, I'm going to be giving him a different name. But if he does find this, he will know it's about him. So there's really no saving it. But let's call him George. Okay. So I go on a date with George, 27. We go to a Chuck's. Okay. I am on my way to this date and I'm already not in the mood to be going on a date. And I'm in a really fuck ass mood. Like I'm not in the mood to be socializing with somebody that I've literally never spoken to in my entire life. So keep that in mind when being told this story, because it's important to know that I was in a god-awful mood and I didn't even want to be there to begin with. For starters, I get out of my car, I walk toward the restaurant, he's waiting outside. This man looks nothing like his photos. And when I say that I was catfished, I don't mean that it was like a different person or like he was literally like fugly. It just was not a clear representation of who he was. Like physically, like as a person. So I was already like, great. This man smiles at me, and this man has at least a mile gap between each of his 4 front teeth. I stopped dead in my tracks. Now I know I got a tooth gap. I could have fit 18 of these teeth gaps in his tooth gap. An immediate no for me. Maybe some of you liked those kinds of teeth. Me, however, I spent $7,000 on my teeth. I want someone else that spent $7,000 on their teeth. So I'm already mentally noting that I probably won't be seeing this guy again because I'm not physically attracted to him. But obviously I'm going to give the date a chance in case he's like one of the best people I've ever met, and looks don't always matter. In this situation, they did. So we get inside and he doesn't hold the door open for me. He opens the door for himself and lets it go. And I was like, mental note. Double down not seeing this man ever. We're waiting for the hostess to come. There's not a word, syllable, pronunciation of any type of vowel that this man speaks to me. He doesn't say hi. He doesn't say how are you. He doesn't say a single goddamn thing. And I was like, cool. Am I holding you hostage to be here? Why are you acting like this is against your free will? You asked me on this date. Like, so the hostess comes over. She says, you can sit anywhere. It's not that busy. She brings us over to a booth section. He goes, which booth do you want to sit in? There's 2. I go, doesn't matter. You pick. And he goes, no, you. Okay. So I pick a booth because this man can't make a decision for himself at the ripe age of 27. No, for sure. I love it. So I go, oh, like, did you work today? He goes, no. Okay. I go, oh, okay, what do you do? He goes, pest control. Bitch, you are the pest. Speak. Speak freely, please, because I feel like I'm holding a gun under the table at you to be here. I go, oh, that's nice. How do you like it? He goes, well, I also am an arborist. I felt like I was pulling teeth. Like, it was actually so awkward. This man, like, I was holding him against his will to be there. There was no other way to describe it other than that, because, like, that is exactly how he was acting. So, because this man's not asking me anything, I'm like, well, I guess I'll just learn everything about this man that there is to know. I go, so is there, like, anything that you like to do in your spare time? Like, other than, like, your job? Like, do you have any hobbies? And he goes, well, I do martial arts. Of course you fucking do. Of course you do martial arts. The dying sport, might I add. And for anybody that's going to come for me in the comments, I live in a town where I don't even think there's a place to do martial arts. So maybe it's not a dying sport where you are, but it is where I am. Now, I must have piqued one of this man's special interests, because as soon as he brought up martial arts, this man did not stop talking for the rest of the date. And when I tell you he did not stop talking, he told me about all of the differences between each individual mixed martial art. I'm going to ask you, does it look like me? I give a fuck about the difference between Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu. Please tell me. Because I'm going to tell you from my personal experience, I don't. I don't even watch the fights when they come on. I only watch them if it's somebody I give a fuck about. And when I say give a fuck about, Patty the Batty, and I like to watch Jake Paul lose. Okay? So this man's going on about this, that, and the other. And I have no idea what he's talking about. And I'm just, absolutely. Because I'm the type of person that I'm going to fake it till I make it, and then I'm never going to talk to him again. Because he should pick up that this was the worst date ever. Now, it's important that I also note that this man didn't ask me a single question about myself. He went on to tell me every single thing about him, all of his siblings, and his school, and his hobbies, and work. And I don't think this man even knew how old I was, because he didn't ask. This man didn't ask me anything. When I said, how's work? He straight up said, I didn't work today, or whatever the fuck. Like, he didn't say, oh, how was work for you? Or did you work today? Or what do you do? Or nothing. I got not a single question. This man might not even know my name, for all I know. I don't think he said my name once. Yeah. So we go on to finish our calamari, finish our beer. The waitress comes over and asks if we're grabbing anything more, if we want the bill. He ends up paying, which was super kind of him, obviously. I didn't even bring my wallet, so I was hoping and praying that that man had that on lock. We get ready to leave. He's still talking about martial arts and telling me that he wants to teach me, and it would be so fun for me to learn, and all this fun stuff. And I was like, well, it was really nice meeting you. And he was like, yeah, you too. And that was it. And that was the last I ever saw of him, because he hasn't texted me. Not that I'm offended. I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay, but I just really want to come on here and share that story with everyone, that men are the same everywhere. And it doesn't get better. And I've given up hope.
Hi everyone, my name is Kenzie, and my special talent is that I can shapeshift into a fountain.
Okay, get ready with me while I tell you guys about how Haley Beck stalked and harassed me my entire junior and senior year, all while hooking up with my high school boyfriend at the time. Okay, so I know there was a lot of like miscommunication and misinterpretations of what actually happened, so that's what I'll be trying to cover today. Mostly focusing on what involved me directly, because there are a lot of things I'm not 100% sure of. Okay, so him and I started dating last spring. It was like April probably.
And then I had her as a teacher the semester prior to that, so first semester of junior year. So for everybody like asking me if I knew about their relationship, I literally had no idea. Like I did not know about any of the intimacy going on, anything sexual. But I did know about her texting him and sending him money, trying to hang out with him, because I was aware that she was doing this with other boys on the team as well. The only reason I didn't report it is because I felt like it wasn't my place to, because so many people knew about it and it hadn't involved me yet. So when people started finding out that we were actually like together, talking, whatever, Haley Beck started asking students in my class and my friends, just anybody that like had any relationship with me, random questions about me. Like she tried to find out him and I's relationship status, like what we did together, how we acted, what I did in my free time, who I talked to, who I hung out with, like really weird things that teachers usually don't care about. There was also this specific time where she was telling one of the football boys on our team that I was stealing her boyfriend and that she needed to get rid of me. Around the time of her stalking me and viewing all my socials, questioning people about me, it was probably mid-May, so the semester was like close to ending, which is another reason as to why I hadn't reported anything, because he told me he was only in communication with her so she would pass him in the class. And although we had a closed campus, every day we would leave for lunch and Haley Beck would give us her credit or debit card, I don't know which one, and she'd have us bring her back food. During this time, it was probably like a 3-week span of just getting through the end of the school year. So during this, she would text him telling him not to bring me near her, like not to have me deliver her food. It only is allowed to be him. She would tell him and I that like either I was a bad person, he was a bad person, he's doing this, she's doing that. Kind of just like giving me reasons to be mad at him, but we never really fought about anything ever. So that was basically it through the months of April, May, and maybe a little bit of June. She would just text him all the time. He was also disrespectful AF to her. Like, if you guys read the text, like, you guys know. Which is also another reason why I hadn't questioned him physically getting with her. I just didn't expect it out of him. But the last text I saw was in the middle of June after him and I spent the weekend at the Princess, which is a resort in Scottsdale. It was her reaching out to him through Instagram, and I obviously got upset about it, and he blocked her on everything, and I hadn't questioned it since, because, I don't know. I'm, like, not really the type to go through phones or just do any of that, so I didn't, which I guess I should have. So when she did end up getting put on leave, he had already moved out of state, so I was getting questioned by, like, police, attorneys, lawyers, whatever, for the district, school, I don't even know, for, like, a 6-month span, like genuinely from like August to December. It was just questioning. I actually didn't end up finding out the truth until April 2nd, which was like 2 weeks ago. And I only found out because one of my close friends sent me the entire police report where I read all of the texts. Yay. But it is true that both of his parents knew. I remember oftentimes in a relationship, his mom would ask me what I thought about the situation, which I was like, yeah, it is what it is. Like, it's over. I didn't know they were actively having sex. But yeah, his parents both knew. His family knew. His friends knew. Everybody knew except me somehow. And yeah, that's basically it regarding Haley Beck. She had a flirtatious relationship with numerous students. I didn't know about the sexual relationship until 3 weeks ago, although his parents did. And it is also true that when our principal was told about it, probably around a year ago, he didn't do anything about it until the police were involved. So that's another thing. But yeah, everybody, that's my story time. I hope it wasn't too confusing or boring. And if anybody has questions, like, I'll answer them. I'm just trying to make sure there's no discrepancies in the truth. As for Angela Berlocca, I know nothing about that situation, just that she sent him inappropriate pictures as well as other people. I don't know anything about a relationship there. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching.